Hi, I'm Sean Johnson of the 2008 U.S. Gymnastics team. I'm here with our friends from VeggieTales to say, be a player, get up and play an hour a day.
Besides gymnastics, how do you stay in great shape, Sean?
I love to dance and rollerblade.
Cool.
You don't have to be an Olympian to be a player. Just do the things you already love to do, like jump rope, ride a bike, or even play freeze tag.
Now that's something to live for.
Well done! For fun ways to get healthy, visit www.smallstep.gov.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phelan, a weekly program here on LSN Television, and we're also carried by a number of our radio affiliates throughout Fairfield County. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners, that join us each and every week, and certainly Kelly, our executive producer, Kelly Roberts, helps line up our guests and gives us some good talking points during each and every program, and the students here at Fairfield Christian Academy that actually put this program together. Special guest this week is Ted and Kathy Duffus. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And it's going to be a great show because we are really have some special guests with us. All these teddy bears and things here that they brought along, and they are part of a ministry that is called Tender Loving Bearz. And tell us, Kathy, what is Tender Loving Bearz?
Tender Loving Bearz is an outreach that was from a fund that was established for my daughter-in-law who passed away some years ago unexpectedly and was a bear lover. And what we do with these bears in honor of her birthday, Valentine's Day, we take them currently are taking them to the ER at Fairfield Medical so that the kids will have them throughout the year when they come in fearful situations and they want to, a little friend to hold on to. We think it's important.
Now, you could also give some to the sheriff's office?
We're giving these to the sheriff's office. We thought how great it would be to further the outreach this year because we've done the emergency room 3 years in a row, and Ted and I started talking one day about the deputies and the situations that they are in and the children that they have to encounter, and that's got to be a fearful thing and thing that makes the kids afraid to see an authority figure like a sheriff coming at their house or coming to their house, whatever it is. But to give them a little bear, for them to have a little teddy bear to hand them, a little calming toy, I think we thought that would be fantastic. And Ted said he thought that he would talk to you about that and see if it was possible. So. And
Ted knows firsthand because, Ted, you're a dispatcher with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. And how long now?
I'm in my 9th year.
9 years? Wow, that doesn't seem possible. So tell us some circumstances, because you get these calls day in and day out where these bears might be needed.
We would have them like in a domestic situation where there was some small children involved, where there was some violence in the house and the children were distraught, that we could give them comfort. Maybe at the scene of an automobile accident where they were shaken up and a little paranoid over the circumstances just happened. A little bear might give them the peace and comfort they need to get through the situation.
And you've been doing this for a number of years.
We've been doing it 3 years now.
And how many bears have you actually passed out, or do you know?
Well, we don't know for sure. Well, we always do a quantity of at least anywhere between 20 and 25 to the hospital, and we always tell them that we have more. And we have encountered people that have actually received them, their children receive them, which was really nice to hear because they talked about the fact that the bear was so important in the situation that the little one was able to feel more comfortable and more relaxed. So we've received the fruits already. We're so grateful.
Well, I think it's a wonderful program, and certainly it's nice to have people who get involved. You're with New Connections Church, and this is a ministry. Yes. Tender Loving Bearz is a ministry through New Connections Church, yes. Which your daughter's a pastor.
Yes.
And right here in town.
Yes. And the way this whole thing came about was that my son and my daughter-in-law, the one who passed away, when the church began 10 years ago, they would come from Pennsylvania every Sunday for 2 years, and she would constantly, her name was Michelle, she worked in the nursery. And she loved the kids in the nursery, and that's kind of how this whole thing started. She was an avid bear collector. She loved teddy bears. There were teddy bears everywhere in her house. And so when she passed, we established the fund, and we thought this would be a great way to remember her because she loved children and she loved teddy bears, and she was very often hospitalized because she was a severe diabetic.
Wow.
She had a lot of physical problems that caused her to be admitted to the hospital pretty often. So the whole thing just went together, and we thought her experience with knowing what it feels like to be in a hospital, extended periods of time, collecting the bears and loving them, and kids, it all just kind of went together. So we're just happy to do it.
Yeah, I think anyone can relate to these kind of things. You know, whether as a child, I think most children had these, and how kind of actually comforting it is to have a teddy bear or something like this to give out during these events. Now, just to change subjects a little bit, Ted, you're a dispatcher.
Yes, sir.
And been there for about 9 years. And tell us a little bit about the kind of what's a typical day for a dispatcher? Or is there a typical day for a dispatcher? And then we're going to talk a little bit about what a life coach is. That's what you are.
There's never a typical day. You know,
Okay.
Everybody can say that they're in a job rut. They do the same job day in, day out. Job of a dispatcher brings a new adventure every day.
Okay.
There's nothing routine about what we do.
Okay. So, and you know, one of the big changes that I've seen over the years, even since I've been sheriff, is most of the calls when I started as sheriff, they were all landline. Now everything's coming through the cell phones, right?
Cell phones, yes, sir.
So you're talking to people now, not from the payphone, not where they had to go down, but you're actually talking to people at the scene of some of these tragedies, some of these car accidents, and those kind of things.
And that's correct. And a lot of times we get phone calls, cell phone calls, from emergencies in the Columbus area. It's
Really?
not even in our jurisdiction.
Right.
That it depending on what tower that the cell phone hit off of to bring it into our center.
Okay.
So we have to, again, be on top of that to find out what agency needs to respond to that. And it's a different ballgame, like you said, now with the cell phones, because everybody's right there. They're right there, and they can give you perfect size-ups, perfect situations of what the situation is at the scene, which helps the first responders immensely.
Okay. When someone calls into our dispatch center, a lot of times you probably get calls on the 911 line that really shouldn't come in on 911, right?
Right.
What are some of the calls that should come in on a 911 call, and some of that perhaps should not?
Just the bottom line, anything coming in on the 911 line should be basically life and death type emergencies.
Okay.
Violent emergencies, serious automobile accidents, someone's life's in danger, and stuff like that should be a valid 911 emergency. We get calls with a 911 emergency for somebody locked their keys in their car.
Wow.
Because they say, I don't know where else to call.
Right.
I don't know a phone number.
Right.
So they just hit the 911 button. And basically what we do is just transfer them to our sheriff's office non-emergency line.
Okay.
Instead of just telling them, no, here's the number, call. You know,
Right,
we just
right.
transfer them to a non-emergency line. And
But
take the
again, when
information
people are
out.
calling in and it's not a non-emergency, they're tying the line up, right?
Yeah,
for
exactly.
what may be an emergency.
What is not deemed an emergency by law enforcement, fire EMS, or the dispatchers may be in that caller's eye a
An
bona fide emergency.
Right.
You know, and I think the public just needs a little bit of education.
Right, right. Well, and we're doing that.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, now you're a life coach, and you're with Coach Through Life.
Yes.
And that's what you do when you're
Yes.
not passing or buying teddy bears to pass out, right?
Exactly. Yes, I've had my business Coach Through Life since 2007.
Wow.
And I am a personal coach. I'm a business coach. I do leadership training. I also do speaking publicly, and I love it. I really love it. And I need to say something about what Ted does and what your department does, because I absolutely have so much respect for what you all do. He comes home in the evening, and sometimes he's really spent. And I'll say, how was your night? And last night was a tough night. And he'll say, oh, you know, we had so many calls, and it was just so crazy. And I respect the fact that all of these the people in the dispatch office, the sheriff's deputies, they're all so wonderful. I mean, God bless every single one of them, because they handle tragedies like nobody else can. And they're always willing to be helpful, and he's always, I love to talk to him on the phone because he has a dispatcher's voice that makes me comfortable. And he talks to me on the phone. He's very soothing and very comforting, and I know he has a lot of situations that are tough, and that means so much to me, and I know a lot of people that we have people out there who care, that are doing these jobs, and I appreciate that.
I've often said, Kathy, that the dispatchers have the toughest job in law enforcement, because they are the first people that the public typically interacts with when they call the sheriff's office. So the whole tone is set by the dispatcher. They have to multitask. They have to be calm in situations where most of us, it's just like, wow, how are you going to navigate through this? And you know, Ted's been on the phone with people that were going to commit suicide, and I know that was a tragic situation some time ago. So it's a very tough job.
It is a tough job. Every night that he comes in, I say, "Did anyone die today?" And I'm always so blessed to hear, "No, they didn't." And it's tough when he says, "Yes, they did." You know, so we face so many things every day. All of us do, as people, human beings. People are always in situations where there's difficulty, and children, like, to get back to this, they're forced sometimes into things that they shouldn't be. And so if we can just comfort them, I think that's so important. You know, we're all in a place where we can make a difference, and I think that's what it's all about. And these guys are fabulous.
Good. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, what does a life coach do?
Let me tell you. What a life coach does is, when I get a client, I usually have someone who has a goal or a dream to do something, and for whatever reason they haven't done it yet.
Okay.
And so we find that most of the time accountability is a big thing. If you can hold someone accountable to what they say they're going to do, and keep tabs on them and coach them and make them stick to their plan, they'll be successful. And quite often, for instance, people who have problems medically, this has just recently come up in my practice, you've been told to lose weight or else. Well, what happens is, if you don't do that, the or else can be fatal. You can die sometimes in these situations. So I always think it would be great if people would hire a coach to say, okay, how many pounds did you lose this week, and what are you going to do next week? And no, that's not enough, and your doctor's going to expect more, and help them get through to where they need to be to save their lives. Now, I don't always have life and death situations, certainly not, but people have dreams and goals, and if they don't know what their strengths and weaknesses are, if they don't know how important it is to work on their plan and become what they want to be, then they're shortchanging who they're supposed to be, who God created them to be. And that's important to me. I love to see people be who they were supposed to be.
Kathy, would you give a telephone number in case someone wants to get a hold of you about a life coach situation?
Yes, I would love to talk to anyone. My number is 740-407-6460. And I have a website, coachthroughlife.com, and a Facebook page. You know, nowadays you can reach us any which way you want to. So just look it up, Twitter, all of it. It's there.
Kathy and Ted Duffus with Tender Loving Bearz, a ministry of New Connections Church. And I'm going to have you back next week, because I'd like to cover a little bit more on dispatching, maybe to share a couple stories that have really touched your heart over the years, and talk a little bit more about Life Coach, and then we'll certainly remind people about this wonderful ministry and program that you guys have been involved in.
Thank you.
Do appreciate it. Can you make it back next week?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good. We appreciate that. Well, we're just about out of time. Again, I want to thank the students and staff here at Fairfield Christian Academy that put this program together each and every week. And certainly Kelly Roberts, our executive producer, and you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. Until next week, same time, same place, God bless, and we'll see you right here next week.
When it comes to choosing a school, parents who want the best education for their students look for academic excellence, skilled teachers, a safe school that encourages their values. Students want a school with competitive athletics, unique opportunities, and friendships that last a lifetime. Fairfield Christian Academy, the place where parents and students agree. Enrolling now at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.